Good afternoon, IMAA members, and welcome to our Insights and Innovation series for this somewhat short Easter week. Today we have our good friends and partners at Amobee and the amazing Leo Madden talking to us from the northern beaches of Sydney, which half of the world lives at apparently, talking to us about a bunch of different amazing tools that indies have access to. Brand intelligence platform, which gives you the most amazing insights. He'll talk about that, and then all the other tools that are available to add to your stack and make us look bigger and more powerful than the whole coast. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Leo to take it over. Over to you, mate.
Thank you very much, Sam, and hello everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm just going to share my screen. Just give me 1 second. Cool. Can everyone see that? Is that sharing okay?
Yep, that's great.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, cool. So today we're just going to talk a little bit about the insights and innovations that Amobee can offer. The main focus is going to be on brand intelligence. So brand intelligence is our insights and planning platform that's tied directly into our activation platform. And then if there's time, we're going to talk a little bit about the innovations within digital out-of-home planning and measurement tools that we have on offer. So obviously Amobee and the IMAA have worked very closely over a number of years now. So I won't go too hard into an introduction, but for those of you that don't know us or haven't worked with us, Amobee, who have recently joined forces with Unruly, work in 3 main areas. So firstly, strategic planning. So looking at audiences and profiling from our data, which is surfaced within brand intelligence, a location planner for out of home, the activation piece we won't touch on today, and then measurement, which is mainly surrounding brand lift from brand intelligence, and also our attribution tools. So without further ado, we'll jump into brand intelligence. Before showing you the tool, I thought it would be useful just to give you a snapshot of the data that we hold that's unique to us and the data that feeds into the tool. So we've named it originally the Amobee ID, and the data that feeds into this is URL data from mobile devices, live GPS data from mobile devices, so tying kind of online and offline movement, mobile app usage, data from the DSP, kind of what we see in terms of ad requests, what sites people are visiting, social and web listening tool, and then a 250K panel in Australia that we have access to. So brand intelligence, it is essentially a real-time research and insights platform where you can learn about certain topics, trends, or audiences, and then use that data to directly activate it within the platform. I think one of the easiest ways of thinking of this tool is take a social listening tool, but then add the rest of the internet into that as well. So essentially what it's doing is scoring when people read an article, click a link, share an article, like something, watch a video. It's taking all of these we call consumption methods and then scoring them to understand essentially what is happening online. So I'm going to dive out of here and into the platform. Cool. So we've started off. I've just put together some tabs because it's not always instant when we do a search. So I thought that would be a better use of our time. So we have a search bar, the discovery bar. We can type in any keyword that we like here. So considering the time of year that we're in, I've gone for Easter. So what it's now going to tell us is what are the top trending associations on the internet that are closely related to Easter. What we'll see is the size of the bubble is essentially the size of the opportunity. how much content is there around this topic. So surprise, surprise, Easter is the largest. And we can click in and see, okay, what is the content that's driving this? We have a time schedule over here. So we're looking at the last 1 month, and it's telling us that Easter basket is minus 25%, Easter bunny plus 200% in terms of how it's trending this month compared to the last month. So we can use this when we're planning a certain campaign to see, okay, what keywords and topics should we be aligning with when we run this campaign. So we can also look at a few different other sections here. So we can look at velocity, which is going to show us basically how much something is trending or being talked about less. And then we can also add in an audience filter and say, okay, this is the topic for the general population. What does it look like amongst a particular audience? So I've gone for busy mums here, and then we can see things like Easter egg hunt is 3.86 times more likely to be consumed by busy mums than the average consumer. So you can start to get an idea of basically how that looks. Seems that busy mums are looking a lot at leg of lambs and Easter recipes for Sunday. So you can start to understand, okay, what is my audience talking about? Where should I focus my advertising? What type of creative should I be building if I want to run an Easter campaign? So next up, we can look at content streams. So this is going to tell us all of the main content drivers surrounding Easter. And we can use this to, just as a snapshot, see there's a lot about food. There's a few campaigns like Jeep are running a Safari and Easter campaign. And we can use this often to look back at previous years, see what worked and what didn't, and have that inform our strategies. So we can see, for example, Good Housekeeping is getting 180,000 likes on Most Beautiful Easter Cakes, consumption score of 9.8. Maybe we want to replicate something like that for ourselves next year. And then finally, I guess where this tool really differs to other insights platforms in the market is that we can take these insights, see which keywords are most likely to be consumed around this topic or this brand, and then we can just click add to target, choose the ones that we like, and then have that activated as a live segment within the DSP platform. And then this will change in real time. So as new trends come out around a certain topic or brand, you'll be constantly aligned with that content online. Cool. So we've had a look at the discovery section. We're going to look next at the insights part of the platform. So what we're doing here is we can choose any kind of topic or brand and look at what the consumption trends are for that brand over a certain time period. So here we've gone for 3 months, and surprise, surprise, coming up to Easter, there's a lot more content being driven. But I guess looking at this from another way is if you've run a campaign for a client and you want to know, okay, how effective was that campaign? We can look at, okay, so 1 month before, what was the consumption score? 1 month during the campaign, what was the consumption score? And then after, and then start to give you essentially a passive lift score instead of having to survey people, and I guess a lot of the issues that may come with that surrounding, is it certain types of people that do surveys? Like, do we know that they're being kind of honest in their thoughts? This is just looking at passive consumer behavior online and giving you a score that way. So next up, we can look at associations. So again, we can do this over a set time period. So if you've run a campaign and it was to push a certain message or a certain brand association, you can then test that association and see how much did it change over that period. So it's going to give us some suggested associations, which I've added in here. No surprises in the kind of top keywords that we see. So then at the bottom, I went for two of the kind of main chocolate brands that I think would be pushing a big Easter message, and then it's going to tell you what the association score is. So Cadbury's has a much higher association score than Lindt in this case. But we can look at this across all the brand's competitors with any type of keyword to get some real insights into where the opportunities are. So next up is the audience tab. So we kicked off starting with a topic, and then we want to learn about that topic, what people are saying online, and we can break that down by certain audiences. Next up, we're going to start with just an audience and then see what do these people do online, where can we find them, and how can this inform our strategy. So I was having a think, who do we go for here? So we've gone for a kind of younger focused female sports brand as the idea here. So we've gone for the demographics of Australia, interested in NRL, AFL, cricket, and tennis, with a level of intent of awareness. So this is going to keep it quite broad for us, but we can also drill this down into in-market. Female, aged between 13 to 54 in Australia. So I've just gone for the demographics and interests here. We can also look at audiences by which websites they visited and which websites they haven't visited. So some cool work we've done before is looking at, okay, we want to see everyone that has never visited our website. How do they look, and can we conquest after them? And then lifestyles are pre-made segments of things like sports fanatics, busy mums, whatever it might be. So firstly, it's going to give us a demographic breakdown of this audience. So we've got a target audience of around 1 million people within Australia, and we can see how the demographics break down in terms of age. 25 to 34 is going to be the age group that will be most relevant for our brand. So then we're going to explore this audience a little bit more. So we have the choice to go by consumption, which is just which websites do our audience visit, and then skew, which is what are the websites our audience visit that make them most different to the rest of the online population. So no surprises, YouTube, Facebook, Wikipedia are kind of the top ones. And then we can scroll through and start to use this to help with any like particular partnership activity that we're looking to do with a brand. And then we can start to look at the topics. So sports has the most consumption within the topic groups, social networks, entertainment, business. And then we can kind of go right to the bottom and see, okay, these people are less interested in telecoms, holidays and special occasions and so on. And then next up, we can go to skew and look at the phrases. So what are the phrases that this audience are consuming online that make them most different to the rest of the online population? So there's plenty about cricket scores, lots around sport, batting, NRL, and then we can start to, like we did in the topic section, we can start to build a segment from these, choose all of the ones that we like, we think are most relevant, and then have them activated within the platform. So that is everything from brand intelligence. So as you can see, it's a tool that it takes a little bit of training on. It is used by some agencies in-house as a tool that they have themselves. And then for other agencies, they'll come to us and say, we have this burning question. We want to understand how our campaign performed, and then we have our analytics team who will produce that for you. So something that we've done to make it a little bit easier to digest the information you're looking for is build a dashboard, which is a live dashboard that has all of the information that we've run through feeding into it. So some companies will kind of have these in their office for each of their brands and just have a bit of a tracker to see how things are looking. So for this example, this is one that we built for Tourism Queensland recently. And what it's going to show you is what is the consumption score for you and your competitors. Not sure if you would call the other tourism boards exactly competitors, but for this case we will. And then it's going to show you the sentiment for each of them. Green is positive, red negative, and gray neutral. And that's just a kind of a nice snapshot for you to see how you're tracking. Then this obviously looks a little bit hectic when we choose them all at once. So I'm going to change it to only TQ. And it's going to show us our consumption score over the last 3 months. And we can look to relate these spikes to campaigns that we've run. Show us the geos in which people are talking about our brand. And then I'm going to go back to selecting the rest. And then we can start to see, I mean, I think for a tourism board, the demographics are often going to be quite similar. People that want to travel domestically, but you can imagine for other brand names that we can put in here, you might have some quite drastically different demographics, but it will give us a breakdown of the age and gender. And then the bit that I really love is the top trending brand associations. So for TEQ, see the Great Barrier Reef is a massive pool, and they can see, okay, when people are researching about visiting Queensland, what is it that comes alongside that? See Virgin Australia have many flights there. And then perhaps more interestingly is looking at the other brands. So, okay, when people are looking to visit Tasmania, they're looking at Hobart and Cradle Mountain. When people are visiting South Australia, turns out cage diving is a big thing. And then what we can do is start to build like competitor questing segments, whereby we can start to have our ads appear when people are reading about cage diving, Cradle Mountain, Hobart, or whatever it may be. Cool. So continuing, the final thing that I was going to show you guys was our out of home planner. So I shall try and share my screen again. Okay, are we, am I still on? We can see this?
You are still on.
Perfect. Yeah, so sorry about that, guys. Cool, so to finish off, this is Amobee's digital out-of-home planner. So I mentioned closer to the start that we have access to location data from around 24 million devices in the country. So from this, we can see people's general movement and then also tie this back to the audience data we have from their online behavior. So this means that we're able to, in this case for out of home, plug in our strategy, what our audiences are, who we want to hit, how much budget that we have. And then this planner is going to tell us essentially where we should be appearing and give us a fair bit more detail into that. So this example was for an alcohol brand, whereby we plugged in who we were looking for, and it's told us, okay, these are the number of panels that you can hit. This is what your total reach will be. The median age of the people you will reach, the household income per week. And then it's going to allow us to play around with different categories and start to either take away or add categories to see how that will change the campaign reach and metrics. Similarly with state, suburbs, changing the formats we want to appear against. And then it's going to give us total reach numbers by categories, total device reach by state. Gives us a nice visual into the formats that we will be appearing against, and we can start to really kind of dive into specific areas to see how that changes. Similarly, an index for essentially the relevance of the users by area. And then finally, it's going to tell us our actual plan. So these are the billboards that we feel would be most relevant. And currently, we've listed them by traffic numbers. So you can start to see how many people will I reach from each type of billboard, what percentage of people from the state can I reach from that, and then give us a kind of total index score to say these are the ones that we think would be most relevant for that audience. So yeah, something that's brand new that we've built recently that we think would be pretty useful for any of you looking to plan out home campaigns. And that is it from me.
Thank you, Leo. Guys, are there any questions for Leo? And there often isn't, but if there is, I can connect everyone afterwards. Linda's just arrived. I can connect everyone afterwards, so please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much, Leo and the Amobee team, for all of your ongoing support and keeping our lights on, and also for updating the members in the Insights and Innovation series. Thanks, guys. Have a great short week, and we'll see everyone next Tuesday. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Bye.
Bye.